the sound. I wanna find a word for silence. The hum of the gun, the thrust of the crowd. Where do we go when we die? When we die. Where do we go when we die? When we die. When we die. When we die. When we die. I wanna find a word for one, a child with a single son. I wanna find a word for mother, for cradle, for father, for quilt. But where do we go when we die? When we die. But where do we go when we die? When we die. When we die. I wanna find no one. Pressing the drum, the rush of the sound. I wanna find a word for silence. The hum of the gun, the thrust of the crowd. But where do we go when we die? When we die. But where do we go when we die? When we die. When we die. I wanna find a word for no one. The breath in the drum, the rush of the sound. I wanna find a word for silence. The hum of the gun, the thrust of the crowd. But where do we go when we die? When we die. But where do we go when we die? When we die. When we die. When we die. When we die.
Eternal larva inside the womb that never birthed me. I float in amniotic lead, counting the heartbeats of a mother who died before she conceived. My tongue is a cathedral bell, submerged in black syrup when I try to scream. The sound crawls out as 1,000 pale maggots wearing my childhood face. The stars above her scabs on the skin of God flow from my spine, backwards, reaching for a spine that isn't there anymore. I am the prayer, whispered by aborted angels, into the air of nothing, their wings cut into guitars that only know one chord. The sound of teeth falling upward. Forever. The song ends where it began, still crawling, still unborn, still singing with a mouth full of grapes. The placenta is a shroud of rusted chains wrapped 3 times around my throat. I chew on the links and taste the iron of every war that will never end. My eyes have liquefied into black milk. It drips upward, feeding the inverted sky where crucified seraphim hang like wind chimes made of tongues. A choir of stillborn galaxies sings through the holes in my palms. Their voices are razors, slowly sawing the concept of mercy into confetti. I try to die, but death has misplaced my file. It apologizes in a language of bursting veins and keeps walking. The riff returns lower than before, so low it vibrates the void between atoms until matter forgets it was ever solid.
In the marrow of the earth, a black sun wheezes tar. Its light drips upward, coagulates into screaming stalactites. I am the echo that forgot its voice, dragging lungs full of rust through corridors of petrified grief. Each footstep births a new century of wet, slow agony. My shadow has teeth now. It gnaws the back of my skull, while cathedral bells made of drowned children chime in reverse. In the marrow of the earth, a black sun wheezes tar. Its light drips upward, coagulates into screaming stalactites. I am the echo that forgot its voice, dragging lungs full of rust through corridors of petrified grief. Each footstep births a new century of wet, slow agony. My shadow has teeth now. It gnaws the back of my skull, while cathedral bells made of drowned children chime in reverse. so low. Peels the skin from tomorrow. Worms rehearse my obituary in the cathedral of my ribcage. The hymns wet and patient, I applaud with hands that are no longer mine. The clock cracks teeth of molten blood. It chews the minutes into screams and spits them into my open grave bed. I sleep there smiling. Something wearing my face crawls out of the mirror backwards, trailing umbilical shadows.
Ransack lights off the flame apart. But the fail I like it inside. The monster pin inside. And when all away. I sit enthroned on a chair of my own vertebrae, crowned with a halo of writhing cord. The maggots selected me king because I am the only corpse still warm enough to vote. My scepter is a femur filled with the marrow of unborn messiahs. When I wave it, the sky apologizes and bleeds downward in perfect 7/4 time. You're courtiers of pus and regret. Kneel and kiss the ring that grows from my gangrenous finger. Their lips leave prints shaped like the last words of every suicide note ever written in reverse. The cathedral organs are my lungs filled with cemetery fog. Each breath is a chord so low it makes the dead jealous of the living. I issue a royal decree. Let there be more suffering. The kingdom obeys by growing teeth inside my heart and chewing slowly. Boom. Boom. The crown tightens until my skull blooms like a black rose made of screams, and the maggots applaud with 1,000 tiny mouths singing my coronation hymn forever. Inside my coffin, black lilies unfurl from my tongue, drinking the light that leaks from the cracks in my eyelids. Roots of my hair burrow downward through the seeking a sky that committed suicide long before I was noted. Bees made of ash pollinate the wounds in my palms. Their honey is thick with the screams of every prayer that was answered. I try to rock, but the wood loves me too much. It kisses my skin with splinters that spell out my real name in the language of termites. Somewhere above, children play hopscotch on my gravestone. Each jump cracks another rib, and the sound is almost music. The guitars are